Hello, everyone. Welcome to the channel. This is Eve Moliva, Human Species Coach. The topic of the day is the power of self talk and self image, that inner voice that's in your head, and how that self talk actually influence you experience life as a human being. So, the self talk, as you experience it in your head, the inner voice is happening in a way that is so automatic that you don't think about it or you don't intentionally necessarily talk. It's happening in a way that's natural and I say automatic and at the subconscious level. And that self talk, I say, it's mainly automatic, but you can intentionally also talk within your head, which is, I call it more like a manual self talk where you just intentionally, manually just say things in your head. But the majority of your self talk is automatic, and the self talk is also a collection, a recycling of all the experiences that you've had to this day in your life, from the time you were a child to now, and whether it's good, bad, and ugly, all that is that collection, which actually is behind that self talk. And at the subconscious level, the self talk is almost like that mechanism that has a direct connection to the universe and your subconscious. And that self talk, because you're sending messages to the universe when do using that self talk. And that self talk is directly linked to really how you experience life, because you are sending messages to the subconscious, the universe, and it creates that experience for you. And when I say the universe, the subconscious doesn't know the difference between automatic talk versus a talk that is not automatic. It receives both and creates that experience for you. And I've said before that the self-talk is the direct shape of your experience. So if you can learn to cultivate a strong and encouraging type of self-talk, it's going to directly influence how you experience life. The issue is that the way we experience life as humans, and we go through a lot of traumatic experiences and a lot of events that are tough, and as we go through our life, all right, these events influence our self-talk to a point that we might have an experience that was very maybe traumatic in the past, and yes, that experience that you've had from the childhood may have shaped that inner self-talk, right? I give I like to give another example of a child, right? The child that has a big head, right? He goes into the world when you're fresh born, you don't know nothing about the big head. You just a baby, right? And then as you grow, people start telling you, "Oh, you have a big head, you have a big head," and you see how people respond to your big head. Maybe people make fun of you, and even at home, your parents call you big head. So you start to actually see that there's something wrong with your big head because of the response that you're getting, and you're actually getting a traumatic situation because it's traumatic because it affects your self worth in a way you, because of how people are responding to your big head, you start feeling that you might not be as worth it. And just from that self traumatic experience, that's going to affect actually unconsciously that self talk that I'm talking about. And as a child growing up, because of that experience that you had, your self talk is going to be more in lines like, I'm not worthy, my head is big, I cannot get women. And just from that one traumatic experience, this is how you have cultivated some uh, self-talk that is not as pleasant. And and that self-talk become almost like a software. It's something that's become saved in your memory, and it becomes part of who you are. So when you grow up, that negative self-talk is just going to be there and it's going to be considered normal. And but because of that self-talk and because of the power of the self-talk, it's actually experience. It affects how you experience life. So as you grow up and you have a self-talk, my head is too big, women are not gonna like me. Guess what? When you're actually sending those messages to your subconscious, you're actually gonna feel it and live your life and experience that self-talk in a way that you're gonna come up as being very timid, very hesitant, very shy, because in your mind, you have a big head and no one would accept you. And you have created that self talk from a traumatic experience, which is affecting your experience as a human being. And it's really tapping into, is really limiting your potential of what you can really be as a human being because you're still kind of stuck in this old wire and old pattern of thinking. But the good news is that I'm just giving one example, but a lot of the self talk is happening. You can have positive experiences while you create positive self talk. But a lot of the self talk that we see as adults and that's really affecting us usually come from a traumatic experience. And then we save those talks as almost a memory within our subconscious. And it's happening so automatically that it's you experiencing from those self-talk you get to experience anxiety and depression and all those things. But the good news is that you can rewire your self-talk and you can rewire your experience and understand that the self-talk is more like an extension of your past experience and you can always cultivate and develop more positive self-talk and understand that really the self-talk is the last door that communicates, the last point of connection that connects to the subconscious and the universe. And if you can cultivate the more positive self-talk, then you can really shape and completely change your experience as a human being. So it's never too late to update the old software, which is the old self-talk mechanism. You can daily, you can get up every day, say positive stuff about yourself. Basically, you can have a more positive outlook on life by saying things more positive about yourself. I'm beautiful. I deserve this. I deserve that. I am a champion. I love myself. Similar to how you would talk to your son in a very encouraging way. I believe within yourself, your inner self also needs to hear that love and that encouragement and support coming from you. That's why I made a video previously to say that the most important relationship you have is with yourself. So if you understand that and you see yourself as your inner child, you must protect that child and you must support that child all time. So be as positive as you have never been, because just by doing that, that's how you can rewire your self-talk within yourself, and as a result, have a more pleasant experience in life. I also want to add, I had this uh, situation with a mushroom that clearly taught me that lesson of what's going on with the self-talk. So I did one time a magical mushroom. They call it shroom, and I had done it where I consumed a significant amount of mushroom, and a mushroom was something new to me. I'd never really done mushroom before, but I'd done cannabis. But in my experience with the mushroom, I when I consumed the mushroom, I start to feel very uncomfortable within my body within 30 minutes of consumption. And after that, it was a very uncomfortable feeling. And I felt like I was stuck somewhere and trapped. And all of a sudden the feeling of sensation of panic just came out. And and then from the panic, the self-talk in my head was like very negative. Oh, this is a mushroom. Why did I do this? Am I gonna die from this? This is horrible the way I feel. So these are the talk that was going in my head as I was high on mushroom. But the mushroom is what I learned from that experience. The mushroom is like your subconscious, but on a heightened level where is like a mirror. If you have a negative self-talk, the mushroom is going to amplify the sensation of negative. It's almost like the mushroom was like a flames to a fire, and your thoughts are gasoline. So, and if you have negative thoughts, the mushroom is going to make you feel a nightmare. And as I was high off the mushroom, I was able to, in the middle of the action, see what was happening, and really change my pattern of thinking to something more positive. And the thing with the mushroom, it's like a mirror, so it reacts to whatever you throw. If you throw negative, you're gonna feel nightmare. And then I started to say more positive stuff, and the mushroom made me feel more euphoric. So this is kind of a lesson that I learned. Life is like a mushroom, but life is the same thing that happens, but on a less heightened level. So remember, the self-talk is so huge. Whatever you say yourself, you create that reality. And you have the power to shape your reality by shaping your self-talk. This is all I have for today. Thanks for watching.